off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, CNBC News, NBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Tiki Live, Amazon Music, Geosan, Podchaser, Rumble, and many more. And I'm so grateful to be able to take my very smartphone so I can broadcast. I just traveled an hour and 25 minutes to get to you here in studio from Calabasas. I am now in Redlands. And yes, you do see someone very familiar. It is my very popular straight and tall. Apparently, I missed the K yesterday in the title of my wonderful series called Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
And he is here in studio. It's kind of funny because I can see the back of him right now. This is like a different thing. Oh, you went off camera too. But yeah, we're like across from each other, but we're close, but we're not too close. He's not sitting on my lap yet. But we're so happy that you are joining us. I see the eyeballs rolling in. You know that you can, unless you're driving, you can actually interact with us and give us some questions and comments and flirt with us because we're both single. And what else can you do? You can just be here and first of all, have breakfast with us. We always like you to join us to start the day in the most positive way with 8 specific things that you are grateful for, because that will prime your day to have more good things splatter at you. So what are you grateful for, Sam Works?
All right, I guess I'll start. The first thing I'm grateful for is the support from everybody that I know. I don't think there's one person that I know personally who doesn't support in what I do. So,
Even exes?
even
I have more than 88% support, but I don't know about 99, but that's okay. You go where the love is.
Right.
I'm grateful that I know to go where the love is, and that I have learned, this is partially appreciation, but I've learned not to go to the tractor for milk and try to get people who cannot approve of me or like me to try to get them to change their mind. They have every right to feel whatever way, and my job is to gravitate towards those who do love me instead of trying to make those who don't love me. So I'm grateful for that. What are you grateful for?
Another thing that I'm grateful for is just the ability to do this and be on the show, because this is something that not only helps me, but I'm sure this helps a lot of other people too who are listening. So,
yay! I'm grateful that I have a cool little zippy car that can get me to travel long distances again. I was talking to Sam on the way in, and I used to travel probably 3 or 4 days a week. I would put in an average of 150 to 200 miles because I love driving, and I haven't done that since COVID hit. So this is the first week where I'm actually putting in those miles. I'm grateful that I have a reliable car. As much as I loved my Jaguar, it made quite a few unplanned for stops. So I'm super grateful I have my Mazda Miata from Capistrano Mazda. There you go. A little commercial in there.
To piggyback off of that, I'm really grateful to have a vehicle. so I can travel back and forth and network and come to work, go home, and all that good stuff. So without it, we'll be traveling on foot, and that's no fun. So
Absolutely. Or donkey. I'm grateful that I have a convertible because I love going topless.
right, that's a good one. I like that.
Thank you.
And the last thing, but surely not the last thing that I'm grateful for, is being able to live not on my own, but out of my parents' house and feel more as an adult and be a little more independent. It's self-soothing to know that. So
Fantastic. I am grateful that technology allows me to be seen everywhere. And it's lovely to be recognized for a show about hope and happiness, and that I'm on a happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. And now I actually several times, at first I thought it was like an anomaly and, people were just pretending to know who I was. But now I actually have people, and one lovely woman, and I'll put her little video up today, say, I remember you. I met you several years and you just shine happiness and ooze happiness, she said. And she recognized me. So that was wonderful. All right. That's the top of the bun called gratitude. Let's see if anybody is playing with us. Not yet. But you can put appreciations down. So we do less and you do more. And those are 8 specific things that you like about yourself. Gratitude is about outside of yourself. Appreciation in my show is about what do you like about you? And that's important because if you don't stand in the 88% awesomeness of you're likely to try to find love in all the wrong places and get other people to approve of you, which is sometimes futile, because no matter what, some people just will not like you. That seems to be the theme that I just brought up again. So what do you like about yourself? And then don't give a flying fork through a rolling donut what other people think of you. So I'm going to start. I appreciate that I look at the bright side of things simply because it makes me feel better. I put on my life jacket with a silver lining, today's gold lining, because it just feels better.
one thing that I like that I appreciate about myself is that I'm a decent cook. I can't give myself too much credit, but I'm a pretty good cook, and that's one thing that I can, surprise the women at. I'm like, hey, let me cook for you, and then be amazed. So
You've never offered to cook for me. If you were to cook for me, what would you cook for me?
That's such a good question.
Thank
First,
you.
would have to make sure. I know you like Thai food, right? So I've heard. But I don't know. I never tried to make Thai food. I'm very whitewashed, so I can
Well,
make.
no, yeah. Well, what do you think I would like without trying to make something new? Maybe one of your populars.
So I need to rename it, but it's called a bro bowl. Okay. And it's your choice of carbs. So you want brown rice or potato, whatever. And then in the middle layer, it's a sauteed with dressing vegetables. Okay. Like the color of the rainbow vegetables. It's really delicious. And then on top is your protein. So I usually do chicken with, you top it off with either some type of sauce and a side of cucumbers. And it's just delicious.
That sounds good. Let's see. I appreciate that I care. I care about people. I want people to be happy. I don't want kids to be starving. I don't want people to feel like they would rather be out of this life than in this life. And I care.
One thing that I appreciate about myself is that I keep going 88% of the time. There's still that 12% when I'm thinking about the past, and it kind of like drags me and slows me down, but I keep moving forward, and I think that's very important. So
Great. Last appreciation for me. I appreciate that I almost always can find something funny
Mm.
to amuse myself about a situation or what someone said. I love joking around. I love being irreverent. I love double, triple entendres because it just makes me laugh. And bonus is if someone else laughs too. But
Right.
it's most important that I get myself, thank God. And people will say, I'm very easily amused.
Oh, well, that's good. One thing the last thing I appreciate about myself is I just had it, but seeing both sides of things. Like I don't like it when people are just like one-minded, and that can create a lot of problems, especially if you're having conversations. Because I mean, debating's good, but you have to see both sides. So.
Na 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 na, both sides now. Is that Belinda Carlisle? I saw somebody perform that. I'm the worst with names, as you can tell. But anyways, I love that song. All right. Sam Works
Let's give each
on
other.
this special called Straight Talk with Sam Works and Dr. Marissa. What would you like to talk about today?
Well, see, I gave you two options, and I think we're gonna talk about both today, right? No, just the first one, option A. And option A that I gave her yesterday was how to keep the spark. Because, like you said in the most previous shows, you were talking about how there's like a trimester where, everyone's like in love with each other and all that good stuff. And then after that, it kind of dies off. And then you realize what you don't want to sacrifice with your significant other. And it's important to keep that spark because you don't want relationships to end, right? Especially if it's a good relationship. So we're going to be talking about how to keep the spark alive. Dr. Marissa,
And
right?
yeah. Well, one of the reasons you thought we were going to talk about both is because I actually did a horizontal integration backwards. And not only are we going to talk about how to keep the spark alive, I thought it would be interesting to talk about the spark itself.
Ooh.
So chemistry,
Mm.
mhm, that lightning, tingly, butterfly, why we feel it. Number one, what that is it a combustion of some kinds? Why do we feel that with some people and not? And why is it so difficult to feel that with people? Is it necessary? What does it mean? Can you manufacture it? And then once you have it, how do you keep it alive? So
Yeah.
that's why you thought I said both, because I went on about it. And in the promo, I said, got chemistry? Question mark. Remember those milk commercials? Got milk?
Got milk.
Yeah, I love those. Got chemistry? So let's start there and just explore a little bit what chemistry means. So we all I think most people, I would say at least 88% of the people have felt that and experienced it. So if you're listening and you've not felt it, you can tell me that my assumption that if not 100% of the people or 99% of the people have felt that spontaneous combustion. Some people have reported it as our eyes met across the room and suddenly I knew. And some other people have said, when they touched me, not there, but when they touched me, when their hand touched my face or my arm, or when I first shook their hand, I felt the earth move under my feet. I felt that. So that's another way. I felt that butterflies when something happened. We were talking, and then all of a sudden the ground shook. So, have you felt any of those things? Have you had those moments, Sam? And
Oh,
what was your how often is another good one. Like, is it mandatory to have that to have a good relationship? So there you go. 7 questions in a row, as usual.
I've had that very few times. And for those people that haven't had that yet, hey, you're still alive, so there's still a chance to get it. It's actually a really remarkable feeling. Um, but I think it's been a while since I've had it. And one was, like you said, a conversation. I was looking at that person. I was like, oh my gosh, like super cute. And then another time, it was actually my friend's sister. Now this is crazy, but like we never touched each other. We're very respectful. We kept our space, right? And then one night she was at one of my parties that I threw, and she was leaving. So this is the first time I was like, okay, like have a good night, drive safe. And I gave her a hug, and she kissed me on the cheek. And I kid you not, it was like one of those movies. Like my cheek just felt like it was on fire, and I got like the biggest chills. I was like, oh my gosh. And my friend knew because like body language couldn't hide it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, you get those feelings every once in a while. And some of them are unnoticed. Like you don't realize it's going to happen. And that's usually how it is, right? Like if you're super attracted to someone, like you're kind of hoping and wishing it's going to happen, like that buildup. But sometimes the ones that come out of nowhere affect you the most, right? Because you don't see it coming. So it happens. It happens quite often. What about you?
I was going to go into analysis of yours. Let's see. I wasn't thinking about mine. uh,
Let me ask you this: your last
okay.
kiss that you had, did you feel it? Did you
I
feel the spark?
I felt the furnace being lit.
Mm. Okay.
But what is interesting, if I think about it, it was less about the person, which is a weird thing to say, which means you can feel chemistry and not necessarily be attracted or thinking about a relationship with that person. Oh, this is interesting because, I have heard that having that spark is not necessarily a good thing. And
Ooh.
if you feel that spark, sometimes it misleads you into thinking that
Mm.
this is something more than it is. And what's the difference between, we're getting a little feedback. So, what's the difference between chemistry, that spark, and pure lust, which is the animal instinct to procreate? I call that lust.
Mm.
Very little to do with um, attraction that leads to a healthy relationship. So I heard not that long ago, like in my agelessness, I would say most of my relationship theory, relationship practice, relationship coaching has been that spark is a good thing. And it's only like recently that it's been brought up to me that, just because you have the spark doesn't mean it's a good thing. And not only that, it could be a bad thing because it will lead you to be addicted, that sexual addiction that it has become normalized to talk about, that you have this urge to copulate often and much with no regard for anybody's feelings or the impact or the negative consequence on your life. Just like alcoholism is the same way about alcohol or drug addiction, where you are so consumed with chasing that feeling. So people who, I don't know, I have to be honest, and I don't know a lot about sexual addiction and that particular 12-step program. I am familiar with 12-step programs, but apparently if you liken the addiction to alcohol or to drugs, or shopping or gambling, it's that all-consuming chase of that feeling, of that spark, of that chemistry, of that butterfly. So when I got that ooh, in the furnace, and I got a little warm and tingling down there in Point South. Um, I wasn't necessarily responding to having a relationship with that person because we'd already talked that the relationship wasn't going to work. So we were
Right.
just playing. So does that mean now that I could have friends with benefits? I don't know. I had never thought I could, because for many women to have that feeling and then consummate that feeling, it's physiologically, and it's been documented that women have a more difficult time separating that physical, getting down and feelings for that person
Mhm.
than men do.
And you know what? I think having that feeling as well, now that you talk about it, could be misleading. Like, imagine meeting someone who is right for you, that has all the criteria that you're looking for and that you need, but you don't have that spark. And the spark is what you're chasing, thinking that that's what you need in order to have a good relationship. So you miss your opportunity to go find that, which you may never find again, because you probably had that before, but you probably don't think it's the same. Or B, you just keep moving forward. And when do you stop? And so I think I never thought of it like that, but it's very intriguing to me to hear that. So, because
So
sometimes it's not what you want, it's what you need, right? And I know a lot of people, they want that spark, but sometimes they need someone to, straighten them out, even if they don't have that spark.
without the spark plugs,
Yes.
I am guilty of that 100,000%. And when I was after the divorce, and I was trying to make up for lost time because it was basically a sexless marriage, that was one of the issues.
Mm.
I, no one, people still to this day, I cannot believe that he didn't want to have sex with you, that he did not find you attractive, that he did not find you desirable. Part of it, he admitted, was power play, because he knew that was the one thing I wanted from him. And so he would withhold, and, I've got a headache and all that. It really was a bit of a role reversal. And so after that, when I was briefly on those swiping apps, it got to the point where I had decided that the only thing important was that I had to first have that chemistry. If I didn't have chemistry, there was nowhere to go. So even though they had everything on the list, right? And I swiped and he swiped and it went ding, right? And then we would text and then talk and then, meet and then have coffee and then have dinner. It was to me, a long ash process, like at least 2 weeks long. And then when the first kiss came and there was nothing turned on in the furnace, then it would be like, what a waste of time, because that has to be in the initial attraction. It has to be there. And if it's not there, the relationship's not going to work. And I believed that BS. That was my belief system. And I went so far as to say, every time I went ding and it matched, the first thing I would do is say, I'm sorry, time is the most valuable resource I have. Let's just meet at Starbucks, sit down, and give me one kiss. And if there's sparks, we'll stay and have coffee. If not, no harm, no foul. We just save 2
Wow.
weeks and have a great life. I'm horrible. I can't believe I'm telling this, but it's a great example of how limiting that belief, that BS, that there has to be the spark or there is no relationship.
Wow. Very bold of you, Dr. Marissa.
Yeah, I I know you thought I was really shy and indirect. I give a whole new meaning to directness. But anyways, and it's all based on the BS, the belief system that my time is the most valuable thing, and I don't want to waste time. So maybe obviously there is a balance to that. I don't have to go that extreme, and maybe you don't spend a lot of time. And when I do give advice on this thing that I don't do, which is app dating or internet dating or online dating, it is from the experts that I've had on the show. Damona Hoffman, who was on, she's Kelly Clarkson's dating specialist. And then this other guy who was on MTV specialist. I've had a number of app dating specialists on my show, and they all agree, the quicker you can get off of the online app texting and meet in person, the better. So, but maybe not as quickly as I want to get off. Ooh, not as quickly as I want to meet in person. Let me clarify. But definitely not 2 weeks before you actually meet. Yeah.
See, I never even attempted to go on any dating apps. So all my meetings were in person. So, which is pretty good. I'm pretty hyped about that. I recommend to everybody not to use dating apps.
Why?
Why? Just because you know how I am. I'm very old fashioned. I'm very traditional. But I mean, you may never, if you meet someone on the dating app, you would probably never meet them on the streets, just because everyone goes based off their own time. So, I mean, I guess you can find the person quicker, but that's if you're chasing looks. You know what I mean? Because typically you're gonna find the person in the environment that you're in, right? Like, you don't like going to the bars because you don't drink, which is good for you. So you probably won't meet someone who is an alcoholic who goes to the bars unless you're there, right? So with me, I find the people that I talk to around the places that I go, which is automatically a plus, because when you meet someone online, you got to be like, oh, what do you like? What do you do? You got to find that match. But when you meet someone in person, there's already a match there. There's already a conversation starter, So it's nice.
Mm-hmm. And on the other hand, you have to waste your time to find out all of those particulars. That online you actually have a profile, but then on the other hand, people can lie on their profiles and stretch the truth or all of that.
Catfish.
So on the other hand, yeah. It's funny. I have clients who say, is it possible just to have one arm on your guy? Because I keep going on one hand, on the other hand. Because it's all about balance, right? But okay, so we have sufficiently, those of you who are tuned in and wondering what we're talking about, you are tuned into Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and co-host
Sam Works
here on my 857th. I said that yesterday. It was actually 856 yesterday. Today is show number 857. I've been on 558 consecutive weeks on the air, on camera. And yes, you can give me some applause for that.
You saw that coming, huh?
I love seeing things coming. Sorry. I am grateful that you are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, you can stream with us now. Love streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, and you can put your comments in if you dare, and we will put you on the screen between the two of us, and we'll have a sandwich. And Sam can say if he wants top or bottom. Anyways, just giving you examples of the things that I appreciate about myself. I do love to play. So we're talking about chemistry. We've just talked about whether it is important or not. And now we're in the second half. We're going to talk about how to keep it. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that chemistry is important. It may not be 100% important for everybody, but for the most part, people who find themselves in a relationship where you have chemistry and it's a yummy feeling. Whenever my kids used to meet someone and they'd start obsessing and is this going to work? Is it not going to work? I would tell my kids, both my bio kids and their friends who would call me Dr. Mom, I'd say, are you feeling good? Is it fun? Does it feel good? Are you having fun? Yes. And then I would say, so just focus on that. Who cares if this is the one or not? Right now, you're in the first blissful, blushful stages of new love or lust, that new first trimester. Enjoy it, because it has, I love this expression. I forgot who told me, but I've carried it for many, many, many decades, which is, you will have a lifetime to evaluate what you're going through right now, but you only have now to experience it. You have the rest of your life to look back and dissect it, figure it out, but you only have now to feel the butterflies, to feel that blush of first, whatever it is, to feel that, oh, he's so cute, to feel like, oh, it's like I've known him forever. Oh, it's so great. And oh, look, he texted me. That, which may not last beyond the first trimester, it won't come again. So why doubt it when it feels good for now, when it feels like it's real, when it feels like it's right? Let it feel right. And then you've lost that loving feeling.
You're just in a singing mood today, aren't you?
And feeling. You know why I'm in the singing mood? 'Cause it's just my imagination. Guess who is coming to town? The Temptations are at the Saban Theater tomorrow night, and I am giving an extra pair of tickets to go see them at the Saban Theater tomorrow night. And if your mama is tuned in right now, as she does sometimes, I don't know, she might like it. Some of the youngins don't know who they are. They are probably one of the best kept, timeless, ageless, still performing, 57 years. Incredible. Otis Williams is the founder. He's an astute businessman who has made decisions that has kept this group alive, kept the music alive, kept, the legacy alive. And this family well because his grandson, Trace Austin, is like my little guy, who I am really excited about his career in his own right. And he's been on the show as recently as last week. I went to his concert at the Regent Theater when Baby Smooth was performing. He was opening for Baby Smooth. My daughter tells me, can you go backstage and tell Baby Smooth that I would like to marry him? I said I would give it a try, but it's really not my kind of music. So after Trace performed, I left. She was not happy with that, but oh well. I know. But the Temptations are performing. And did you know you're going to be followed by a new co-host tomorrow?
Who?
the daughter of Otis Williams and the mother of Trace Austin. Her name is Alon Carter Price. She's beautiful. She used to date Prince. She was on Playboy. She's a gorgeous. She's married, sorry. And she's ageless like I am. And she is my every Friday co-host tomorrow. I'm so excited. Our series is going to be called Tempting Conversations.
Ooh, tempting conversation. Don't steal our conversation. Save them for Thursday.
It's going to be a natural follow through. You think I'm hot here? No, it's going to be great. You're going to love it. We'll have you on and play with us too. That'll be a lot of fun. And we'll have her here to play with us. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Tempting, obviously, temptations. And it's going to be really fun. She actually has someone who's doing some great work on a 501c tomorrow as our guest, but it's going to be a great show. So tune in on Fridays now with Alon Carter, Tempting Conversations with Alon Carter Price and Dr. Marissa. So first person to go to drmarissa.life and put in Tempting Conversations will win the 2 tickets for Friday's show at the Saban Theater, one of my fabulous show sponsors. There you go. I took care of that. Now, how do we keep the spark alive, Sam?
Well, I think, which is, I think, a pretty good idea, is to do, I don't want to say like obstacle courses, but let's say like go on a date. Hear me out, and do something fun together that involves teamwork, right? Like you guys can even do like escape rooms, okay? Because that's bonding. Like, yes, you guys can go on dates and like keep that feeling, whatever, but that's just conversations. But when you guys put two minds together and like feel each other and work with each other, that creates a stronger bond, right? Because like, what do you and all your friends do? You guys play games together. You guys do stuff together. Things that involve each other and critical thinking and putting your minds together. That's honestly, I think, a strong way besides just going on a date. Because if you guys go on a date, let's say you guys been dating for like 40 years, right? And I've seen this happen because I used to be a server at a restaurant. You guys been together every day for basically your whole lives. So what is there to talk about? You know what I mean? And yeah, you can have those dates where you can sit there silently and have it not be awkward. But to keep the flame lit, you guys want to be doing something that, you know, not just your physical bond, but your mental bond as well. You know, so doing something together that involves critical thinking and being active with each other and working with each other can really keep that spark alive. What do you think?
I think that's a great point, especially when you think about now, especially I'll go in a restaurant myself and I will see people who are a couple and they are sitting at the table waiting for the food and they're both on, pretend this is a phone, they're both sitting doing stuff on the phone. They're not talking, they're not looking at each other, they're doing their own thing. Once in a while they'll go, oh, look at this, you know. And it's like, wow, talk about complete missing the point of date night or complete missing the point of being together. And or the only reason why they are together in proximity is to take a selfie together, and then it's another hour of disconnect because they're posting their own whatever. It's just, so the art of relationships is not I wouldn't say it's not easy, but it does take some work. And it's very easy to become complacent in a relationship where the only thing to be excited about is there's like a chipmunk in the background with that voice. Do you hear that? You go, the dinner and a movie, there's none of that, what you're calling that stimulation, mental and emotional stimulation. That's what's missing when you just do dinner and a date.
Yeah.
And when you see, for me, dinner and a movie is actually exciting for me because dinner is not just dinner. I mean, I dated this guy and I told him at one point, I'm not feeling it, but I'm happy to go out for dinner and we can, go Dutch. And he goes, "Oh, no, no, I'll take you out for dinner, but I'm still paying because it is entertainment to watch you enjoy your food." Because I love the experience of tasting and enjoying the deliciousness of life. Anybody that's been on my social knows that. And Doc Balance on Instagram, by the way, and Dr. Marissa everywhere else. And because I don't take food for granted. And so for me, finding a really good restaurant and really enjoying it, and then movies are like one of my favorite things. So I go to movies by myself all the time. Now I've realized that even though I have the freedom to do that, when I'm at a comedy and I start looking over and it's a stranger and they're with their significant other and I'm turning to them to laugh.
Looking at them like,
Ah, and the guy would go, and then like look at his wife like, this woman is laughing with me. So I realized that I'm trying to schedule stuff with people, but I don't like conforming to other people's schedules, and I don't like it when they're not available for me. But that's my problem.
you know what you can do at movie theaters?
What?
You can sit next to the girl and then, laugh looking at her rather than sitting next to the guy and laughing
I can't
with
change
him.
I can't change my selected seat once I've had it right here. I'm sorry. Although, you know what I should look up? I'm sure there's single meetup movie groups. I never even thought of that. Aha. Okay. Something to follow up on. But yeah, I love movies. But you are absolutely right. I think that if you made a point of doing something different than dinner and a movie, like an escape room. By the way, for those of you who don't know what an escape room is, I know that you're thinking that it's a game in the bedroom where you tie someone up and they try to escape. That's not what it is. There are these new ways of entertaining yourself, and like it's a giant clue game is the best way I can you pay money, which doesn't make sense, but to go in a room and figure stuff out. But it's like a giant puzzle. So that's fun. Yeah.
And
go ahead.
And if you think about it, if you watch all these like dating shows and stuff, they have you do like courses with the couple. And then at the end of the season, they're like, "Oh, I'm in love with this person, da da da." And it's only because they've been bonding so much rather than just like sitting there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
those are some things you got to take in. So,
yeah. Speaking of which, I just got the notification yesterday. You are going to see me on TV on February the 2nd at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Game Show Network. I am a contestant on a new game show that's a hit show in Europe. It's called Switch. So make sure that you tune in and put in your calendar February 2nd. Can't tell you what happened there. You will find out when you watch it. And it's a Game Show Network. So subscribe and get it just for that week if you don't already have it. February 2nd at 4 p.m. Pacific. You're first to know.
What is Switch? Like, what is that show?
It's kind of like a cross between what is that? It's not as hard as Jeopardy. Okay. Jeopardy is for nerdy brainiacs, which I'm not. And, in hindsight, I don't know if I deserve to be on that show because I don't like the game of Trivial Pursuit, but it's kind of close to Trivial Pursuit. And what is that show that was Everybody Wants to Be a Millionaire? What was that called? Was it?
I don't really watch TV.
Oh yeah, neither do I. So there's another show where you keep guessing, but there's 5 people, and every round the fifth person gets knocked off, and you have to answer questions. And then the last person standing or the last person wins money, and then they go into the bonus round. So I think I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say how much money, but it's thousands. So you'll have to see how I did February 2nd on Game Show Network.
Okay, super excited.
Okay, so my tip on how to keep the spark alive. I will actually coach women in particular who are in relationships who come to me with the presenting problem of he, and we can say she, whatever the other person is that you think is the problem. He doesn't do this. She doesn't do that. She used to do this. She doesn't do that. Drives me crazy when she does this. Drives me nuts when he does that. Why? If he loved me, he wouldn't do this. If she loved me, she wouldn't do this, or she would do this. And, you know, you don't bring me flowers anymore. Yes, I'm in a singing mood. So, those complaints tell me that you have a habit. What is that? Oh, it's you. Are you moving that? Do you hear that? Oh my goodness, that's so strong.
I'm gonna log off and go back.
Hold on. Yeah, it is you. It is you. I just muted you, and it's you. Okay. Woof. Now we figured that out. I thought it was me, but it's you. So just like my example, if you're pointing fingers and you're constantly saying how they are the bad, wrong one who needs to change in the relationship, my first suggestion and recommendation, and I can remember, I think it was Camilla, when she came on for coaching, I said to her, because she was saying the same thing, that there was an issue with her husband and what he was doing. And the first thing is to take your eyes off of the other person, because you have formulated a strong habit of only seeing things that you don't like about the other person. And that is a spark killer right there. And what happens is they'll say to me, but they do that. It drives me crazy because I'm not making it up. And I said, I know you're not making it up. But what happens when you have a habit of seeing what's wrong with somebody is that you begin only to see what's wrong. And any data that says they actually aren't doing that, or they're doing it less, or they're doing other good things, you can't see. You have that tunnel vision, you have the blinders on, and it's called Pygmalion effect. It's a psychological phenomena that happens when you're human. And it is your belief system begins to influence your eyesight. You literally cannot see anything but what you believe. So if you believe that they're lazy, if you believe that they are slobs, then every example of slobbiness will become bright light, and blaring and catch your attention more than anything else. So I ask people, are you 80% of the time happy with that person? With what they are, what they do, what they can do? And they're like, well, I said, just stop for a second, sit back. Let me grab you by the neck, pull you up to 88,000 feet. Now look at your relationship in the wholeness as it was. And from the beginning, when there was a spark, when there was things to be celebrating, when you were going, any of that still play. Yeah, well, he does work hard. He does provide. He does laugh. He does want me to be happy. He does. I'm using he because that's my orientation, but you can substitute whatever you want. Whatever your significant other is doing in the wholeness, in that, from beginning to end, 80% of the time, are you happy? And they'll go, yes. He, and we point out that he's not a drug addict, not a, all those things that many are, wife beater, there are misogynist, there are, in that scope. If I look at him that way, 80%, yes, I can say 80% of the time, I'm happy with him. Well, then prove it. Quit focusing on that 20% of him that is not to your liking. Yeah, but no, that's you, boo. He can't be perfect, and he will never probably pick up his clothes 100% of the time. When he remembers, he will, but maybe not all of the time. Uh-oh, you're doing that thing again. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna let you. Why don't you come over here? I don't know why I didn't even think of this. Doorknob. Mom, I mean, not I call myself a doorknob at home, and my kids will go, Mom, don't say that. So I just called them. We're in the studio together, and what do? We're sitting in separate studios.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Is that I can't believe how much time now?
2 minutes, 3 minutes.
We have 3 minutes, and we could have been doing this whole time.
Now it's real 3D.
Oh, it's real 3D. Okay, so I could sit on his lap, actually. See, we were talking about doing this for a while, right? There. See? No.
It's a good angle.
Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. Okay, what were we talking about?
We were talking about not seeing the bad things. Because there's a lot of things, like, it's not about what they do, it's about what they don't do, right? Like you said, they don't do drugs, but they do support. They're not alcoholics, they're not abusive, and those are the good things that you got to, enjoy and look at.
So they don't put the toilet seat down. They don't pick up after themselves. They chew with their mouths open. That one's a hard one for me, though.
Yeah, I can't
that's a deal breaker. But really, is the toilet seat a deal breaker? Texting in a timely way, that's actually a deal breaker for me. If you don't text me, if I ask you a question and you don't text me back within like an hour, I'm not happy. He knows this.
She got on my case for that.
He knows this. And then, definitely, if you don't text me back till the next day, it's over, even before it started. So, but that's me. That's my personal. But it is true that a lot of people lose their spark because they focus only on that 20%, which is INTBOAD, which is it's not that big of a deal. So, are we up to the last word? Yeah, we are.
The last word for us, let me see. For me is do stuff spontaneous with your spouse or your other, because that's what keeps the spark going in my eyes, and it keeps things fun and interesting. So whether it's in the bed or in the streets, keep it spontaneous.
I'm looking at him thinking, am I going to feel chemistry now? No, seriously, I'm like, you smell good.
You smell good.
Ooh, what are you wearing?
Nothing. It's just
nothing.
No hormones.
It's a good thing we don't do this very often. I don't think
this is why
it would be a whole different show.
Yeah, for real, huh?
Sorry.
Just kidding.
You're getting paid. Get it paid. So my last word is you have control. You are the one who can keep the spark alive if you choose to focus on the 80% and not the 20%. Thank you for joining us here on Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and Sam Works. He went back to run the board. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace. Oh, you're not on camera. Oh, well. World, yeah, because then we have the chipmunks. World peace through inner peace. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for tempting conversations with Alon Carter Price and Dr. Marissa. Now go and have the best day ever.